squash match I have ever seen was on this show, and I loved every second of it, and a lot more on the road to Takeover, Stand and Deliver. My name is Jordan Moser, and this is your NXT Recap and Review. First up in the night, we have a tag team match. We got Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Zoe Stark and the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. We see Gonzalez and Stark off to begin. Gonzalez just using that strength, just imposing it on Zoe Stark. But she does get a couple good shots in, including a nice little hurricanrana on Gonzalez as well. We see Dakota Kai come in for a little bit, but she struggles as she usually does in these tag team matches against both women until she gets Raquel in. They hit a nice little double team move to send us into picture-in-picture. Coming back from picture-in-picture, and we do see Io Shirai tag into the match, and she comes in a flying boy, as she usually does, just taking out both women on the other team. We do see later on a nice little tandem move between Io and Zoe Stark. Io hits a top rope drop kick on Raquel Gonzalez, and Zoe Stark comes in right in after and hits a nice little springboard drop kick to take her down as well. So nice little teamwork and continuity from those two. But we do see the end of this match as Raquel is rolled back into the ring, and Zoe Stark goes on the top rope for a 450 splash. She misses, and Raquel is able to get her up for that choke slam and hits it clean too. But she's not done. She's gonna go ahead and hit it again. She gets her up for another choke slam, and she sees Io getting up on the apron. She gives her the big boot off and hits that choke slam one more time on Zoe Stark for the 1-2-3 and the win for Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. We see after the match, they're just jawing at each other. Raquel and Io just going at it on the mat. Dakota gets involved to kind of distract Io for a bit, and that allows Raquel Gonzalez to hit that big boot one more time and to choke slam her on the outside onto the table to kind of end the segment off. But this is a nice little tag team match. Definitely appreciated the tag team continuity for both teams. Raquel came out looking strong, just getting the win and choke slamming Io onto the table to kind of end things off. But she's definitely looking strong going into NXT Takeover, and I'm looking forward to see what that match looks like. But I'm definitely keep it on the hush. But I think Raquel, she gonna win that joint. But keep that on the hush because that's gonna come. But yeah, Raquel looks strong, and a nice tag team match for these four women, of course. We get a short little video of Adam Cole sometime earlier in the day or earlier in the week, whenever it was, just invading Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's Kyle O'Reilly's, like his sanctuary, and he comes in and just picks a fight with Kyle O'Reilly. They start brawling, people separate them. He's eventually kicked out and stuff like that. That kind of leads to a backstage segment as Kyle O'Reilly is just arriving at the Capitol Wrestling Center. Roddy interrupts the little interview, and he's like, bro, we used to be brothers. You know, we got to go out there. We got to get Cole for everything that he's done to us, bro. And Kyle is just like, yo, like, I love you, you're my brother, but this does not concern you. Like, this is not your problem. Like, let me handle this. And Roddy just stands there and stares like he usually does. And he just says, both you and Cole, you can go to hell. And I'm like, dang, bro, Roddy big mad. They don't like it no more. He not with it no more. Undisputed Era is truly dead at this point. Next up, we have a match between LA Knight and Bronson Reed, just stemming from the events of last week. We see just LA Knight just getting up and poking Bronson Reed in the head at the start of this match, and you don't do that to the thick boy. You don't do that. And Bronson Reed just goes off, just is really in control and dominating for the first couple minutes of this match, where we see LA Knight kind of get control. He hits a nice springboard shoulder block just going into the commercial break. Coming back from break, and Knight is still in control. During the break, he slammed Bronson Reed into the steel steps and even hit a nice little neck breaker once we were back for break for a 2 count as well. But Reed does begin to fight back, just hits a nice little couple of strikes and hits a choke slam as well for a 2 count. And then we see the end of this match. As they're battling on the top rope, Reed just pushes Knight off and hits that tsunami splash for the 1-2-3 and the impressive win for Bronson Reed. LA Knight loses his first match in NXT. Very surprising, but definitely in my heart of hearts, I thought Reed was going to get this win. He's been being very dominant over the past couple of weeks and months, so definitely they're just continuing to build him. I think Knight will eventually recover. I think he'll probably do something underhanded to get the win from Reed eventually, of course. But this is a short little match, nothing really to go home about or anything like that, but definitely a good showcase of both men just going into Takeover and to the Gauntlet Eliminator at Takeover. So looking forward to everything that they do with that, but yeah, short, okay little match. Next up, we got the announcement of something that I exactly predicted, like 100% predicted. We see as the NXT Tag Team titles were vacated because of Danny Burch's separated shoulder. Get well soon, my brother. We see them being fought over at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. We got the teams MSK, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma fighting in a triple threat match for those titles. Definitely all three have had some sort of run-in with each other over the past couple of weeks, so this is definitely the culmination of that, I believe firmly. So I'm looking forward to that and just that triple threat match coming at TakeOver. Next up, we do have a match between Karrion Kross and Oney Lorcan, just stemming from the events of last week. Karrion Kross taking out Danny Burch. I really hope you get well, my brother. But we do see Oney just mad, just coming right out the gate with the rights, trying to take control, and Karrion Kross is not having it. He pretty much kills him and dominates for the bigger part of this matchup, just coming back from the commercial break. We do see Lorcan start to come back a little bit. He's using just going after that arm of Karrion Kross, a couple nice chops, some loud chops, I will say as well, and just some nice little uppercuts to boot as well. Really seeing Oney Lorcan just like get fired up. Definitely one of the best modes that we do see in NXT of somebody just making their comeback. It's really fun to watch. But we do see as he's going for those uppercuts, he's just cut off by a big boot. Karrion Kross hits that Saito suplex and eventually that forearm to the back of the head, which needs a name because calling it a forearm to the back of the head is not going to cut it. For the 1-2-3 and the win for Karrion Kross, just building momentum going into TakeOver, of course. I won't call it an extended splash because I really like the back end of this match a lot, but definitely the first half was a lot of nothing going on, but definitely a fun little back end of the match for Oney and Karrion Kross, just working against smaller guys. I think it's benefiting him a lot just these last couple of weeks. But yeah, nice little solid match. And after this match, we see Karrion Kross has the mic, and he's just talking about the events of last week, just saying that, you know, he was giving respect to someone who didn't deserve it, a man who didn't deserve it. And I had your hand in my neck last week, and I felt what that was like, and that's just inevitable for you. Like at TakeOver, I'm taking that NXT title back, of course, and this just brings Finn Balor out, and he's like, hey, I found your weakness, bro. Like, I found the thing that is going to hinder you. It is your emotion. It is the emotion that you cannot control inside this ring, outside of the ring, whatever you can do, you can't control it and master it, as I have. A really nice little wrinkle that Balor put in here. He calls his emotions, and sometimes it's excused as demons, which was his demon. So now that he's mastered the demon and he's more so cold and calculated, he doesn't need to bring the demon back because he already is the demon. Like, that's so fire. Like, it's a nice little wrinkle just explaining the demon's absence, of course. But he really tells Kross that, hey, that emotion and that lack of controlling it, that is going to have me drown you, and I'm going to feel no emotion when I do that, my brother. And they just face off to kind of end the segment. Beautiful promo from Balor. One, just explaining the absence of the demon, which we've kind of not really understood over the past couple months since he's been back in NXT, but definitely have a better idea of why now. And Karrion Kross as imposing as ever with the previous match and with the promo as well. So looking forward to their match as the main event of TakeOver Night 2, but just looking forward, and a nice little promo from these two, of course. Next up, we had a match between Walter and Drake Maverick, and it ended in 20 seconds. I was so excited. Drake comes running up the gate, he gets clocked. Walter hits a power bomb and just hits him with the single leg Boston Crab, and he's already out, and the ref calls for the bell. I was like, yes, this is exactly what this needed to be. Thank you. This is my favorite thing on the show. I'm not even gonna lie. That 20 seconds, that was awesome. But we do see after this match, Ciampa interrupts, and he just comes in the ring and faces down Imperium, and he's like, hey, Walter, you know what I want. I want that NXT UK title because that is intriguing to me. You're cool, but that title right there, like, that is pretty solid stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and take that from you. So they're going to fight at night 1 of TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and I am looking forward to that in all the ways. But Ciampa does get beat down at the end of the segment by all 3 guys, and we see Walter rip off his necklace. I don't know what symbol, I don't know what that kind of represents or just importance to him, but it was ripped off, and he just goes ape like he's crazy. He's upset, and he eventually gets hit with a chop to kind of end the segment off, and Walter's just imposing him like, hey, I'll see you at TakeOver, bro. I'll see you at TakeOver. So this was unbelievably nice. I love the idea of Walter versus Ciampa, and the match for that 20-25 seconds was amazing. So exactly what it needed to be. I loved every part of this. Next up, we do have the women's tag team title match. We got the first defenses for the champions, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon against Aaliyah and now Mercedes Martinez. As we see, Jessie Kamea got injured during training, and Mercedes Martinez was given a nice amount of money by Robert Stone to go ahead and take her place. But this was a pretty basic match, not gonna lie. Mercedes and Moon start off the match just locking up. Really nice teamwork between Shotzi and Ember as usual. Ember is just eventually tagged back into the match after Shotzi has worked over for a little bit. She comes in flying as she usually does, just taking out both women. We see Shotzi takes out Martinez, who is the non-legal woman, for a DDT, just takes her out, and eventually Moon hits the Eclipse on Aaliyah for the 1-2-3 and the win. Yeah, really short and basic tag team match, nothing to really think about at all, but really just a nice action. Definitely Shotzi and Ember just gelling as a tag team, and Robert Stone brand goes back to the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately. You honestly could have left Jessie Kamea in the same place in the same match would have happened. So, yeah, nothing really to think about in any way, just a solid showcase of the champions. Next up, we do have a match between Kushida and the Cruiserweight Champion, Jordan Devlin. We see a nice little feeling out process and technical start to the beginning of this match. Kushida just going for that arm as always, and both men just trading moves. We see it kind of capped off as Kushida tries to go for a sliding attack, ends about beside the ring, and Jordan Devlin hits a beautiful springboard moonsault to the outside as we go into picture-in-picture. Coming back from break, and we do see both men just continuing to trade shots. Kushida just continuing to go after that arm and destroy it, hitting a nice little DDT on that arm and a nice little attempt at the hoverboard lock as well. But Devlin will not die. He keeps going. He hits a nice little springboard twisting cutter on Kushida as well for a 2 count, and that frustrates the champion a little bit. We see later on, as they're battling on the top rope, Legado del Fantasma ends up on the entrance ramp to distract Devlin. He eventually ends up on the outside of the ring, just cornered by all 3 men on the outside. He eventually finds a way to get back and slides into the ring, and before Kushida could really get any move on him, Devlin rolls him up with a nice little bridge for the 1-2-3 and the victory for Jordan Devlin. He beats Kushida, and after this, Kushida's just pissed. He's like, Legado ruined my victory, bro. He goes out, he takes out Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde on the outside, steer them away from everything, and that leaves Jordan Devlin and Escobar in the ring to kind of face off. And you wonder what's gonna happen. They're holding both their titles up and they're looking good, and then all of a sudden, the Heartbreak Kid, hat and all, Shawn Michaels, just comes out to the ring. He's just standing there in silence. He doesn't say anything, and he just goes under the ring, pulls out a ladder, slides it in for those 2 boys to go at it. This is very reminiscent of WrestleMania 10, for those who don't know, of just him defending his title, or his Intercontinental title, against Razor Ramon, who both claimed that they were the Intercontinental Champion at the time. So this is very reminiscent of that. Both the Cruiserweight Champion and Shawn is saying they should do it in a ladder match to kind of bring it back a little bit of 25 years ago. I am all forward cruiserweights and high-flying action and ladder matches. That is my jam. So I'm looking forward to, if they go ahead and do that at Takeover Stand and Deliver, that's going to be phenomenal. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Better be on, yeah, it is on night 2. Better be on night 2, because that joint about to be fire. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, all in all, a nice little match between Jordan Devlin and Kushida. Probably one of the more fun matches of the night, and definitely everything with that cruiserweight scene is just, it's coming together. I love it. Yes, I'm loving this so far. And last up in our main event segment, we got Regal's consequences for Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly from the results over the past couple weeks. We see Regal's just like, hey, bro, I am not going to let you 2 tear down this brand. We have done such a good job at creating this and building this. I'm not going to let the actions of you 2 tear it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a non-sanctioned match at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver night 2. You 2 are just going to handle your issues. You're going to get it out, and then you're going to be done with it. Probably not, but we'll see. Adam Cole, he grabs the mic. He's just like, hey, I'm Amazing Grace. I was blind, but now I see. I had a revelation. I had a revelation that I didn't need the Undisputed Era, and I didn't need you, Kyle O'Reilly, to be successful. You was trying to bring Finn Balor into the group. You couldn't even beat Finn Balor. You couldn't do nothing against the boy. Now you want to bring him into the group? You are not the man here. You are not the top dog. That's me. I'm the one who sold the t-shirts, the tickets. I main evented every show. That was me. Don't come up here, Kyle O'Reilly, thinking you the man, of course. That's why why at NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, I'm going to end you and I'm going to prove that I'm the guy. I'm the best NXT champion of all time. Something that you've never been, boy. We see Kyle O'Reilly. He's just despondent for the most part, just staring at him. He's like, hey, I'm not gonna believe that everything that happened for the past 3 years was for nothing, because we did a lot of growing in that time, you know. But honestly, I am the only one that has grown as a person, as a human being. Like all that cheap stuff, all the cheap shots and the 4-on-1 beatdowns, like that's over with. I don't care about that no more. Like I've grown, I'm matured, I've changed. And Adam Cole, you are still the same that you have been this entire time. And I am going to destroy you at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver to prove that I am the one that changes here and I'm the one that gets better here, basically. And they just yell at each other after they sign those contracts to end the show. Nice little visual that we do see from them just to sign off. But this is a nice little segment. I definitely like both promos from both men. Definitely Cole is a much more natural talker than Kyle O'Reilly is, but I think both really help their weight for the most part. For me, after like a month just having this like kind of be the end point for the feud already, that's what it seems like. A non-sanctioned match is supposed to be like the end of a feud, I would believe. Like that's what it feels like. It definitely feels like we haven't come that far all the way yet in a month, even though that's what they're trying to make us believe. So I'm trying to get used to like how the feud is coming along. I'm definitely looking forward to the match, of course. It's going to be magic. But yeah, going from like, oh, they were just friends like a month and a half ago to now it's a non-sanctioned match is just kind of like, my mind. But definitely liked everything that was going on here for the main event. I'm definitely looking forward to the match at Takeover, of course, and that is this episode of NXT. And this was a pretty fun show. A lot of the matches on this show were pretty fun. The opening match, the women's tag, Karrion Kross and Oney Lorcan, as well as the Devlin and Kushida match, were all just fun matches to go after watching. Nothing really stands out usually on NXT, but definitely they do their best in just compacting like solid shows. And of course, moving into Takeover, Stand and Deliver coming in a couple of weeks. They're just continuing to push forward with that, with feuds growing. You know, we see the Gauntlet Eliminator and the Triple Threat Tag Team match announced. So things just continuing to press forward, and I'm looking over to this Takeover more than I am Vengeance Day, and that's saying something because Vengeance Day was awesome. So I'm looking forward to everything that's going to come in the next couple weeks here, just leading into Takeover on the 7th. But really fine show, really fun show. But that is going to be it from your boy. You will catch me later just doing things, doing videos, all the like. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, everything like that. Continue to tell your mama, your daddy, your friends, your grandma, because she knows she loves a beat down. We know it. That's going to be it from me. I'm out. Peace. Y'all take care of yourselves. You're never alone. Enjoy each other's company. Please love each other. Come on now. Please. I'll see y'all soon.